part 2 of the story we began on Wednesday. I hope you're enjoying it. And if you missed the first part, be sure to go back and watch it so that you know what's happening, okay? So, let's settle in for part 2 of Nicholas and His Neighbors, written by Christopher A. Lane and illustrated by Sharon Dahl. Coming down the Poochville Highway was a terrier by the name of Dr. Scotty. He was a talented doctor who specialized in treating common dog ailments like fleas around the collar, crooked tail, and dry nose. Today, Dr. Scotty was on his way to Poochville to perform an operation on a Labrador who had stepped on his own tongue. As Dr. Scotty rounded the bend, he was surprised to see a dog lying battered and bruised beside the highway. "Well, I'll be a leprechaun," he exclaimed. "There's something lying by the road up ahead." Carefully, he moved in for a closer look. "Why, I do believe it's a dog. A boxer, in fact," he said, staring at Ned. "My, but he doesn't appear to be well at all. I'd better not get too close. Wouldn't want to catch anything." "He's a doctor. That's weird." Retreating to the opposite side of the road, Dr. Scotty wondered what he should do. "I suppose I should help him," he thought out loud. "But, my, look at the time," he said, glancing down at his watch. "I'm already running late for my operation. Perhaps I'll send my nurse back to tend to him. Yes, that's what I'll do." So, Dr. Scotty continued on his way toward Poochville, leaving Ned lying hurt on the side of the road. But as he walked on down the highway, he quickly forgot all about the injured boxer. By the time he reached Poochville, Dr. Scotty didn't even remember to send his nurse. Sometime later, another traveler came along. It was Prissy Highnose, a poodle from a wealthy family, on her way to a prestigious dog show. Prissy's limousine had had a flat tire, and she had decided to go on ahead while her chauffeur attended to it. All decked out in an outfit which showed off her naturally curly hair, she hurried along so as not to miss the show. Rounding the bend in the road, she spotted Ned. "Oh my, how dreadful!" Prissy exclaimed. "Some poor creature has fallen by the roadside. I suppose someone should help him, but I surely wouldn't want to get all mussed up. I would just die if I soiled this new outfit." Standing across the road, the snooty pooch looked over at Ned. "He does appear to need assistance," she said thoughtfully, "but there is a chance that he is simply pretending to be hurt in order to draw me to his side. It is quite possible that he is a thief waiting to steal my valuables. The cad! I simply won't fall for his trickery." She lifted her nose high into the air. "How distasteful! I knew I should have waited for my chauffeur, Smedley, to escort me to the show in the limousine." And she continued down the road, never thinking of the injured dog again. It was late afternoon when an overall-clad traveler pushing an old cart finally happened down the road. It was Nicholas the cat. By now, he was over halfway to the family reunion and was getting more excited with each step. As he walked along, anticipating all the fun he would have, he made up a song. "What a jolly, joyful time as we meet to hug and dine, telling stories and playing games, trying to remember aunties' names. Uncles, grandpas, brothers, cousins, they'll be relatives by the dozens, clasping paws and swapping tails, sharing love that never fails." As his cart slowly rounded the bend in the road, Nicholas saw the large dog lying in the ditch up ahead. "Uh-oh, thieves hereabout," he said warily. "That unfortunate dog must have fallen prey to them. I wonder." Should I stop to help him? It will be dark soon, and this highway is certainly not the place for a cat to be at night. And it could make me miss my family reunion. Besides, there is always a chance that this is some sort of trap, he thought aloud, peering into the bushes. Perhaps this dog plans to rob me. Then Nicholas shook his head. No, those are silly excuses. This poor animal needs my help. Besides, it's the sort of thing I've heard good King Leonard would do. Leaning over the injured dog, Nicholas suddenly recognized him. Why, it's Ned, he yelped, and he's been robbed. Let's see, I can use my bandana as a bandage, and I have a little milk. I was saving it for dinner, but Ned needs it much more than I do. Nicholas carefully bandaged Ned's wounds and put drops of milk on his tongue. After straining to load him onto his cart, he summoned all of his strength to continue pushing the cart down the road. Ned is pretty heavy, isn't he? Fortunately, it wasn't long before they reached the dog-tired inn. Nicholas parked the cart. How very kind. That's doing the right thing, isn't it? You should always help someone when they're in trouble. As much as you can, right? Excuse me, he called out, ringing the bell at the front desk. Hello, is anyone here? Yes, I'm coming, a voice replied from the back room. Keep your fur on. An elderly beagle waddled out and jumped up to the desk. Now, he said, cleaning his spectacles, what can I do for you? Could I please rent a room, sir? Nicholas asked politely. The beagle sniffed and adjusted his glasses before responding. Very well. Your name? He asked, looking up at Nicholas for the first time. Oh, my, he said. Is something wrong, sir? Nicholas asked. Wrong? Well, it's just that we don't get many. I mean, you're a cat. Yes, I know. It doesn't make any difference to me, mind you, but the beagle paused, pointing to a sign near the door. No cats allowed, Nicholas read. Oh, I see. But, sir, I desperately need a room for the night. You see, I have a hurt dog outside in my cart. A hurt dog? The clerk asked, glancing out the window. Well then, that changes things, doesn't it? Have you any biscuits? Biscuits? Nicholas questioned. Yes, dog biscuits. You know, money, he explained. Oh, no, sir, not a one. I do have fresh vegetables, though. This is highly irregular, the beagle said, rubbing his jowls, but perhaps we can work something out. Nicholas finally convinced the innkeeper to give him a room, and then helped Ned into bed. The injured boxer was unconscious through the rest of the afternoon and then all night, too. It wasn't until late the next morning that he came to. Where am I? He grumbled groggily, wiping his eyes with his paws. What's going on? I'm glad to see you're awake, Nicholas said brightly. You missed breakfast, but here's your lunch, he said, handing Ned a tray full of food. What are you doing here? Ned asked in surprise, rising up from the bed. Ouch! Oh, my head! What happened? I'm afraid you were robbed, Ned, Nicholas said sadly. I've got to get to that convention, the dog said, trying to stand, but he fell back onto the bed. You're not going anywhere for a few days, Nicholas said. How did I get here? Ned groaned. Why are you here? Nicholas pulled up a chair next to Ned's bed. I was on my way to a park near Pussy Willow for a family reunion and found you lying beside the road. You mean you helped me? Nicholas nodded. But what about all the mean things I've done to you? Trying to run you out of Pupland, barking at you, pestering you. We're still neighbors, Nicholas said, fiddling with his whiskers, even if we don't always get along. Neighbors, huh? Ned grunted. I'm not exactly fond of cats, but you helped me. And you're welcome, Nicholas said. Now, eat your lunch before it gets cold. I've got to get back to my farm. I have crops to tend to. You rest up, and I'll be back to check on you in a few days. Nicholas paid the innkeeper with the produce from his cart and asked him to take good care of Ned. As he pushed his now empty cart down the Poochville highway, a kitten-like smile crossed his face. It wasn't long before he began to sing. A few days later, Nicholas went back to check on Ned. The boxer was doing much better and felt well enough to return home. Nicholas invited Ned to stay in his barn until he was strong enough to return to his job as sheriff of Pupland. Ned agreed, and in the coming days, the two very different animals became friends. When Ned did return to work, he was a changed dog. He still wore his blue hat and sharp blue uniform, which showed off his muscles. He still strutted about town with a shiny gold star on his chest and made sure no one broke the law. But each Friday, when he heard someone singing and saw an overall-clad figure rolling his cart full of vegetables down the cobblestone street, he didn't leap up to block his path. Instead, he rose and cleared the way for the farmer cat. "Make way, you dogs!" he would yell. And when Nicholas had brought his cart to the halt in the village square, Ned would announce his arrival. "Gather around, Downs dogs! Come and see the fine vegetables of our neighbor, Nicholas the cat." The end. That was a very, very good story, wasn't it? It doesn't really matter that you're different from somebody else. What matters is that we take care of each other, right? That's what I think anyway. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Be sure to hit the like button so that I know that you're enjoying the stories, okay? And be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when a new story is posted. And you don't miss any, okay? And be sure to share with all of your friends. Bye-bye for now.